Focus on solutions, not problems. Machiavelli's principle. You're here because you're done with weakness. You're done with hesitation. You're done with living in a world where ordinary men obsess over problems but never move towards solutions. They drown in complaints, excuses, and fears. They waste their lives staring at walls instead of breaking through them. Machiavelli understood what most never will: survival, power, dominance. These belong only to those who adapt quickly, think strategically, and act coldly. The weak collapse under the weight of problems. The strong, they turn every problem into a stepping stone, every obstacle into a weapon. From this moment forward, you stop complaining. You stop feeding energy into shadows. Problems are illusions designed to distract. Solutions are the only currency of power. Focus on them, and the world bends. Ignore them, and you'll remain among the nameless. This is not soft inspiration. This is ruthless preparation, the start of your transformation. Now, declare it. Type it in the comments. I sharpen myself on solutions, not problems. Say it, write it, own it. This is your entry into mental fort. 2. The Machiavellian mindset shift. The average man sees a problem and freezes. He talks about it. He whines about it. He builds stories around it until it consumes him. That's why he stays average, because his mind is chained to the problem itself. But you are not here to stay average. You are here to rewire your mind into something sharper, colder, stronger. You are here to become untouchable. Machiavelli's principle is simple. Never waste energy where it yields no return. Thinking endlessly about a problem produces nothing, but turning every ounce of that energy into decisive action. That produces solutions, results, power. Dark psychology teaches us this truth. Most people secretly enjoy problems because problems excuse inaction. They create the illusion of struggle while allowing cowardice to hide beneath it. But not you. Not anymore. From this point, when a problem rises, you don't panic, you don't collapse, you don't freeze. You narrow your vision to the coldest, cleanest solution. You strip away emotions, you strip away fear, you act. This is where masculine stoicism lives, where feelings end and control begins. This is where you break away from the weak. Say it with me in the comments. I don't freeze at problems. I forge solutions. Engrave it into your mind. Repeat it like a battle cry, because every time you declare it, you're killing the weakness inside you and awakening the power Machiavelli promised. This is mental fort. This is your rebirth. 3. Power through cold strategy. Power doesn't belong to the loud. It doesn't belong to the emotional. It belongs to the calculating, to the one who can stand in the middle of chaos and remain unmoved, while everyone else burns themselves alive in panic. A man who focuses on problems drowns in them. His emotions take over, his judgment clouds, and he reacts instead of ruling. But a man who locks his eyes on solutions, he becomes dangerous. Because while others waste time screaming about fire, he's already building the exit. He's already 3 steps ahead. This is Machiavellian power, cold, ruthless, strategic. The world doesn't reward those who explain their struggles. It rewards those who solve them. That's why people in control look untouchable. They don't advertise their wounds, they weaponize their solutions. And when they move, the masses follow, not out of love, not out of loyalty, but out of necessity. Dark psychology confirms this. Most people crave leadership because they fear responsibility. They'd rather hand over their trust than face problems themselves. If you master solutions, you master people. They will orbit around you because you represent clarity in their storm. That's why Stoicism is not weakness, it's lethal strength. Cold control signals to the world, I will not be broken, I will not be distracted, I will not be moved. And in that silence, in that restraint, you grow into something most men will never understand, an unshakable force. Now, anchor this into your mind. Type it in the comments, I move with cold strategy, not desperate reaction. Write it, repeat it, own it, because every time you declare it, you're rewriting your psychology, brick by brick, into something unbreakable. This is mental fort. And if you want to become untouchable, you must learn this. Never feed the problem. Starve it. Feed only the solution. That's the Machiavellian way. That's your way now. 4. Dominance over chaos. Chaos is the natural state of the world. People scream, fight, panic, and drown in the noise of their own failures. They say life is unfair. They say problems are endless. They say the weight is too much. That is the language of the powerless. Machiavelli understood something brutal. Chaos is not your enemy. It is your opportunity. Because when the herd is blinded by fear, the one who sees solutions becomes the inevitable ruler. When others run in circles, the strategist builds the path. That path becomes power. Look around you. Most men collapse the moment pressure hits. They cry about stress. They look for sympathy. They hide behind excuses like shields. But those shields are made of glass. The moment reality strikes harder, they shatter. Now imagine yourself different. Imagine standing in the middle of fire, smoke, and panic. Your breathing steady, your mind sharp, your decisions precise. That is Stoicism weaponized. That is cold power. That is what makes men like you dangerous. Dark psychology teaches us a ruthless truth. Fear is the most contagious disease in existence. Once it spreads, crowds fall apart. But calm, true, unbreakable calm is even more contagious. When you stand unshaken, others instinctively lean on you. They follow your lead. They obey your direction. Why? Because in chaos, certainty is king. This is why focusing on solutions makes you untouchable. Problems scatter people like dust. Solutions magnetize them. The man with answers doesn't beg for respect, he commands it. Even his silence carries weight, because people know he moves with purpose. Here's the secret most will never accept. Dominance is not about being the loudest, the strongest, or the angriest. Dominance is about clarity. When everyone else is blind, you are the one with sight. When everyone else hesitates, you are the one who moves. When everyone else reacts, you are the one who rules. So ask yourself, do you want to be another broken man screaming about his pain? Or do you want to be the one others bow to when the storm arrives? Type this in the comments right now. I rule chaos by mastering solutions. Declare it. Stamp it into your mind, because the world doesn't care about your struggles. It only respects your solutions. And the man who holds solutions holds power. This is mental fort. And here, we don't collapse under chaos. We conquer it. 5. The fortress of the mind. Every empire that has ever risen, every dynasty that has ever ruled, began with one thing: a fortress. Stone walls to keep out enemies, gates to filter who enters and who stays outside, towers to see danger before it arrives. But let me tell you this, the greatest fortress is not made of stone or steel or fire. The greatest fortress is your mind. The weak allow problems to storm their gates. Every fear, every insult, every disappointment, they let it march right in and occupy space inside their heads. Their mind becomes a city of invaders where every thought is a parasite draining their strength. They fall not because of the problem itself, but because they surrendered their fortress without a fight. Machiavelli warned rulers never to depend on the loyalty of others, but to build their own strength so solid that betrayal could never topple them. The same principle applies to you. Do not depend on the world to give you peace. Do not depend on people to clear your path. Build a fortress of thought so impenetrable that no storm can breach it. Dark psychology reveals another truth. People will test your walls. They will throw their chaos, their drama, their weakness at you, hoping you will absorb it. Why? Because if you carry their burdens, they don't have to. But remember, your fortress is not their dumping ground. If you open the gates for every problem, you invite your own destruction. Here's the Machiavellian approach. Your mind must be ruthless, cold, selective. You allow in only what strengthens you. Solutions, strategies, knowledge, these enter. Complaints, fears, distractions, these are executed at the gates. No mercy. Picture this. A king sitting high in his fortress tower, hearing the noise of chaos outside but remaining still. The fires rage, the mob screams, but his fortress stands. He doesn't run into the crowd. He doesn't collapse under the noise. He waits, he watches, he calculates, and then, when the time is right, he acts with precision. That's what makes him untouchable. You must become that king. Every thought, every reaction, every emotion must pass through your inner gates. Ask yourself, does this thought serve me? Does it make me stronger? Does it lead me to a solution? If the answer is no, you cut it down without hesitation. This is masculine stoicism at its peak. Cold discipline, ruthless clarity, emotional control so strong it feels like armor. Because when your mind is a fortress, no insult can break you, no betrayal can surprise you, and no failure can bury you. And here's the real power. When others see your fortress, when they see that you cannot be shaken, they will begin to lean on you. They will follow you. They will fear you, because your strength exposes their weakness. Your calm exposes their panic. Your focus exposes their chaos. This is why I call this place mental fort. Because that's what you're building. Not just a mindset, but a stronghold. A citadel of steel thoughts and unshakable discipline. Now anchor this into your psychology. Type it in the comments. My mind is my fortress. Nothing breaks me. Say it. Write it. Own it. Every repetition strengthens the walls. Every declaration sharpens the weapons. Because in the end, the world belongs not to those who scream about problems, but to those who rule their own fortress of solutions. And if you master this, you become untouchable. 6. The ruthless art of solution thinking. The masses glorify their problems. They polish them. They parade them like trophies of suffering. Listen to how they speak. My life is hard. The system is against me. No one understands. They wear their struggles like crowns, yet those crowns are made of thorns, cutting deeper with every excuse. You must never fall into this weakness, because problems are not a crown. Problems are chains, and every time you speak them, every time you feed them, those chains tighten around your neck. Machiavelli warned that men who obsess over obstacles destroy their own power. Why? Because attention is currency. Whatever you focus on grows. Focus on problems, and you multiply them. Focus on solutions, and you weaponize them. This is the ruthless art of solution thinking. You treat every problem as raw material, nothing more. You don't fear it. You don't worship it. You break it down, extract the solution, and discard the rest. Cold, efficient, precise. Dark psychology reveals that most people actually enjoy their problems. They cling to them because problems give them identity. Without problems, they'd be forced to face their emptiness. That's why they resist solutions. They would rather complain than evolve. They would rather stay victims than risk becoming rulers of their own lives. You must be different. You must cultivate the brutality of focus. You don't indulge the poison of excuses. You don't tell the world your problems because the world doesn't care. You strip them down and ask one question only: what is the solution? And here's the paradox. Once you become a man of solutions, people will both envy you and depend on you. They'll resent your power because it exposes their weakness, but they'll orbit you because you represent something they lack: clarity. They will see you as untouchable. And in truth, you will be. But this requires discipline. It requires you to kill the habit of talking about problems. Talking is weakness. Doing is power. From this point on, every time a problem enters your life, you train yourself to act like a strategist, not a victim. You step back, strip emotion, and dissect it. You don't ask, why me? You ask, what advantage hides here? What move breaks this? How do I bend this problem into a weapon? This is masculine stoicism, control over self, mastery over chaos. And it's not soft, it's not gentle, it's cold, it's surgical. Because the man who controls his mind controls outcomes, and the man who controls outcomes controls power. Imagine this mindset forged inside you like steel. A boss humiliates you. You don't break, you calculate. You identify leverage. You move silently, preparing your rise while he rots in arrogance. Life knocks you down. You don't cry. You rebuild faster, harder, smarter. You turn the very fall into the reason you stand taller. This is what separates rulers from ruled. Machiavelli said it clearly. Men must either be crushed or controlled. Apply this to problems. Either they crush you or you control them. There is no middle ground. So, let me ask you, do you want to be another echo of weakness, or do you want to be the fortress others can't breach? The solution thinker, the cold strategist, the untouchable. If you choose the latter, declare it now. Type it in the comments, I crush problems by creating solutions. Write it, repeat it, make it your creed. Because every time you declare it, you sharpen your edge. You reinforce your fortress. You harden your psychology until nothing breaks you. Remember, mental fort is not here to comfort you. It's here to weaponize you, to make you ruthless in thought, disciplined in action, unstoppable in will. From today on, you stop worshipping problems. You start mastering solutions. And when you do, power will bend to you, whether the world likes it or not. 7. The anatomy of power. Power is not magic. It is not given by gods, destiny, or luck. Power is built, brick by brick, move by move, thought by thought. It has an anatomy, and once you understand it, you stop being prey and start becoming predator. The first organ of power is focus. Where attention goes, energy flows, and results follow. The weak scatter their focus across 1,000 problems. They divide themselves into fragments. They bleed energy into gossip, into fear, into resentment. They are hollowed out until nothing remains. The powerful do the opposite. They compress their focus into solutions. Like a blade sharpened to a single point, they pierce through obstacles while others shatter against them. The second organ of power is emotional control. Machiavelli taught rulers never to let love or hatred blind judgment. Emotions are storms. They cloud sight. They pull you off balance. They make you predictable. The man who cannot master himself can never master others. Dark psychology confirms this. When you reveal your emotional buttons, people will press them to manipulate you. But if you are stoic, cold, unreactive, you become unreadable. You become untouchable. The third organ of power is adaptability. Problems are shifting terrains. They morph, they grow, they test your resolve. Most men panic when the ground changes beneath them. The Machiavellian man adapts instantly. He treats instability as opportunity. He shifts tactics like a general who knows the battlefield is alive, and he always looks for the angle that leads to victory. Adaptability is not softness, it is weaponized flexibility. A river that flows around rocks always wins against the stone. The fourth organ of power is silence. The weak overshare. They cry about their problems, they reveal their fears, they give away their strategy. The powerful operate like shadows. They reveal only outcomes, never intentions. They act, they strike, and only then do people realize what was happening all along. This is the Machiavellian art of concealment. Problems spoken out loud multiply. Problems kept hidden and solved silently build mystique. The fifth organ of power is decisive action. Nothing kills strength faster than hesitation. Most men hesitate because they are addicted to certainty. They want guarantees before moving. But guarantees don't exist. The powerful act coldly, decisively, even under uncertainty. They understand hesitation is more dangerous than risk. Because while the hesitant man stands frozen, the decisive man is already 3 moves ahead, shaping reality to his will. Put all 5 together: focus, emotional control, adaptability, silence, decisive action, and you have the anatomy of power. You have the blueprint Machiavelli carved into history. You have the mindset kings, rulers, and conquerors lived by. But here's the dark truth. The world doesn't want you to have this power. Society thrives on your weakness. Corporations, governments, even relationships, they all benefit when you are stuck on problems, addicted to emotions, paralyzed by fear. Because a broken man is easy to control. A distracted man is easy to use. But a solution-focused, cold, stoic man, he is dangerous. He cannot be owned. That is why you must build your fortress, piece by piece. Your psychology must become iron. Your presence must become sharp. Your aura must communicate one thing: I cannot be broken. I cannot be moved. I cannot be controlled. And let me make this clear. This is not arrogance. This is discipline. Arrogance collapses under pressure. Discipline sharpens under fire. Arrogance speaks loudly. Discipline moves silently. Arrogance depends on validation. Discipline depends only on results. So I ask you, when chaos strikes, when betrayal cuts, when failure comes knocking, will you scatter into panic like the weak, or will you rise into clarity like the strong? Right now, declare your choice in the comments. Type it, anchor it into your identity. I am power. I master solutions. I bow to nothing. Say it, write it, repeat it. Because every time you declare it, you forge another layer of armor. You build another wall in your fortress. You step further away from the herd and closer to sovereignty. This is mental fort. And remember this truth: power is not found, it is built. And you, right now, are building it. 8. Breaking the illusion of weakness. Weakness is the greatest illusion ever sold to mankind. From the moment you were born, you were told to obey, to fit in, to complain about problems, and wait for someone else to fix them. Society feeds you this poison daily. You're only human. It's okay to be fragile. Stay safe, don't take risks. These are not truths. These are chains. Chains forged to keep you average. Machiavelli knew this. He wrote that men are driven by fear, self-interest, and necessity. And those who rise to power understand this game, while those who remain weak are played by it. If you still see yourself as fragile, you're already defeated. You are food for the strong. Dark psychology reveals why this lie persists. Weakness makes you easier to control. A man who believes in his fragility becomes dependent. He needs leaders to think for him. He needs systems to protect him. He needs others to validate him. He becomes a servant, even while pretending to be free. But you are not here to be a servant. You are here to burn the illusion, to strip away the layers of weakness that were forced onto you, to become untouchable. Here's the truth the world hides. Your mind is capable of more than you've ever been told. Pain, betrayal, loss. These don't define you, they forge you. Pressure is not your enemy. It is your training ground. Fire doesn't destroy steel, it hardens it. And every problem you face is not a wall, it's a mirror, testing whether you are ruler or victim. The weak glorify their pain, they post it online, they cry about it in conversations, they use it to gain sympathy, but sympathy is worthless. Sympathy won't make you powerful, sympathy won't shield you in war, sympathy won't help you win. Stop feeding on pity. Pity is for the powerless. If you want strength, you must embrace suffering and strip it down until only the lesson remains. That is the Machiavellian way. That is the Stoic way. That is the way of men who build empires. Understand this. No one is coming to save you. Not the government, not your friends, not even family. Dependence is weakness disguised as comfort. The fortress must be built by your own hands. Every brick laid with discipline, every wall raised with focus, every weapon sharpened with solutions. Cold psychology demands you cut away dead weight. That means cutting toxic people, weak habits, and useless distractions. You cannot carry everyone with you. You cannot save those who refuse to save themselves. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must not hesitate to be cruel when cruelty serves survival. You must be ruthless enough to choose yourself over those who drain you. That is not cruelty, it is necessity. The untouchable man does not entertain weakness. He doesn't explain his problems. He doesn't beg for sympathy. He doesn't crumble under pressure. He uses pressure as fuel. He weaponizes rejection. He extracts solutions where others collapse in despair. And because of this, he becomes rare, powerful, dangerous. Ask yourself, who do people follow in chaos? Not the one crying for help. Not the one pointing out problems. They follow the one who sees clearly, who acts decisively, who brings solutions. That's the man you must become. And once you become him, you will notice something strange. The world bends differently. Opportunities appear where before you saw only obstacles. People treat you with quiet respect, even fear. Not because you asked for it, but because your presence demands it. Power doesn't beg, it radiates. This is why mental fort exists, to turn weakness into armor, to transform victims into rulers, to strip illusions until only raw strength remains. Now, I want you to carve this truth into your identity. Type it in the comments. I destroy weakness. I build solutions. I am untouchable. Write it. Declare it. Claim it. Because the moment you stop accepting weakness, the illusion breaks. And when the illusion breaks, you rise. This is the Machiavellian principle in motion. This is the fortress of your mind, rising stone by stone. This is your transformation. And remember, the world will not respect your problems. It will only respect your solutions. The weak drown in illusion. The strong bend reality. Which one will you be? 9. Becoming untouchable. Untouchable. The word itself is heavy. It doesn't mean you are invisible, and it doesn't mean life spares you. It means you endure fire without burning. You stand in storms without moving. You face betrayal, failure, and chaos, and still rise sharper, colder, stronger. Most men will never reach this state. Why? Because they glorify weakness. They cling to their problems like identity. They bow to emotions. They trade power for comfort. Machiavelli understood this clearly. Ordinary men are ruled by fear, necessity, and circumstance. They bend under pressure. They surrender for safety. They serve the strong. But you are not here to serve. You are here to ascend, to become untouchable. And to do that, you must master 3 brutal laws. Law 1, rule yourself. If someone can anger you, they control you. If they can humiliate you into reaction, they own you. Weak men are puppets, their strings pulled by anyone clever enough to press their buttons. The untouchable man cuts those strings. He rules himself. He is unshaken by insults, unmoved by provocation, unreadable in silence. His calm is terrifying because everyone knows, when he strikes, it will be precise. The man who cannot rule himself will always be ruled by others. Law 2. Turn problems into weapons. Problems are raw material, nothing more. The weak freeze, they complain, they glorify their pain. But the untouchable man extracts solutions like steel from ore. Pain becomes discipline, betrayal becomes wisdom, failure becomes fuel. Machiavelli wrote that men respect results, not excuses. And results come only from solutions. Problems are irrelevant. The more solutions you create, the more power you command. The more power you command, the less anyone can touch you. Law 3. Walk alone. Command. Many. The untouchable man doesn't need crowds. He doesn't beg for validation. He is complete in solitude, and paradoxically, that is why others follow him. His strength exposes their weakness. His clarity exposes their chaos. His calm exposes their panic. Dark psychology says most people crave leaders because they fear responsibility. That's why, once you master yourself, people orbit you without being asked. They lean on your stability. They obey your direction, not out of loyalty, but necessity. The state of being untouchable. Untouchable is not an act. It is not a mask. It is not arrogance. It is discipline, built brick by brick. Every time you refuse excuses, you harden. Every time you reject weakness, you sharpen. Every time you solve problems instead of drowning in them, you ascend. Picture this: storms rage, enemies plot, failures strike. And you, still sharp, calculating. The weak panic, but you remain. That presence alone makes you dangerous. That aura is untouchable. Understand this. Society profits from your weakness. It wants you dependent, emotional, distracted, because a weak man is easy to own. But the untouchable man, he cannot be controlled. He bends reality instead of bowing to it. He walks through fire, and fire bends around him. 10. The final strike, your ascension. This is the final strike. The last words you hear before you step out of weakness and into power. Everything you've listened to so far was not entertainment. It was preparation. You are being forged into something the weak cannot touch. Understand this. No one is coming to save you. Not society, not friends, not family. If you want to be free, if you want to be strong, if you want to be untouchable, you must save yourself. That is Machiavelli's principle. Rule yourself, or be ruled forever. Problems are noise. Solutions are weapons. Weak men waste their lives talking about the noise. The strong man sharpens his weapons in silence and cuts through obstacles. That is who you must become, your mental fort. The fortress is not out there. It is not a castle, not a wall, not a city. It is inside you. Every disciplined thought is a stone. Every controlled emotion is a tower. Every solution is a sharpened blade. This is what you are building. Mental fort. A stronghold of the mind where betrayal cannot break in, chaos cannot shake the walls, and failure cannot burn the gates. Here, you do not bend. You rise. The final oath. From this day forward, your identity changes. You will walk differently. You will think differently. You will respond to life differently. When problems come, you won't complain. You'll calculate. When betrayal strikes, you won't collapse. You'll adapt. When chaos surrounds you, you won't panic. You'll dominate. This is the untouchable mindset. This is the creed of rulers, of strategists, of predators who walk through storms without flinching. Now anchor it into your psychology. Comment this below. I am the fortress. I am the fire. I am untouchable. Write it. Declare it. Own it. That's your oath. That's your weapon. That's your rebirth. The closing command. This is Mental Fort, the place where weakness dies and power is forged. If you felt this, if you want to sharpen further, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Every lesson here is another wall in your fortress. Miss one, and you weaken. Take them all, and you ascend. Do it now. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Declare your oath in the comments. Step into your new identity. And remember, focus on solutions, not problems. Machiavelli's principle. This is not advice. This is law. This is power. This is your ascension.